Final Four set. New UNLV head coach Josh Pastner is going to join us, and we have a Tropical Bros standings update. Where do the D-Aliens stand heading into the final weekend of the NCAA tournament? It happens now. Yes, sir. We are here to do it again on a Sunday night, a little later than traditionally at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific, but wanted to give everybody a chance to wind down and watch fully that final game going into the Final Four. Auburn is your fourth one seed into the final weekend, dispatching of Michigan State. And so all 4 one seeds move into San Antonio and the Final Four. We'll talk about that coming up here momentarily. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at a non-traditional start time. But you guys are used to now flexing things around. You know, it's like flex weeks in the NFL. We change out the matchup, so we make this a Thursday and that a Saturday and this a Monday. But for now, 7 o'clock became 7:30, and we are ready to roll. Also, as I mentioned, I'm very excited to bring you this interview with Josh Pastner, because Josh is one of the best guys in the sport. He coached Memphis. He coached the Yellow Jackets at Georgia Tech, and now he just took over the UNLV job this past week. And I can't wait to catch up with him, because wait till you see a picture that we will bestow upon Coach. He has not seen this yet, but a member of this Watch D.A family met Josh when they were just 13 years old, and we have the photographic proof. Stick right there for the Pastner interview. You're going to love this as we drop this on him. All right, that's coming up in just a few minutes. But let's begin with your Furious of 5. Is chalk good for the NCAA tournament? Yes, except not this much. Yes, except this is a little much. Before the tournament began and we got Selection Sunday and we had all the experts filling out their brackets, Jay Williams from ESPN infamously put together a 1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2 bracket. All the ones, all the twos meet up in the Elite Eight. And we all scoffed. Give me a break. That's the easiest bailout answer. Oh, my God. Talk about not taking any risks. You take yourself too seriously, Jay. Can you pick an upset, please? Just one. Go out on a limb just once. 1-2-1-2-1-2-1-2. Give me a break. Guess what? Jay was closer than almost anybody else. It went 1-2-1-2-1-2-1-3 as the final 8 seeds left. And now your final 4 seeds are all ones. I think when it comes to the end of the tournament, people like brands. I think when it comes to the end of the tournament, people like big schools and power programs. And traditionally, your power programs end up as your 1 seeds, and your 1 seeds are your power programs. And it feels like you're getting the best basketball at the end of the year when it matters most. So people do like that. It usually reflects well in the ratings. However, I don't think you want it to be this predictable. I really don't. I think this has been a little bit too much. I don't think you need 4 different double-digit seeds. I don't even know if you need 2 double-digit seeds. But you need the door open for a Cinderella so that people do not go into tournaments expecting there to be lack of magic. Because at the end of the day, there's only 2 things that really keep this thing afloat. It is not the players, and it's barely the coaches. It's the structure, and it's the expectation you will see something crazy. Let's face it, in NCAA tournament history, okay, the things that we remember most are the zany, wacky, crazy, or buzzer beater, incredible, impeccable finishes. Now, when it comes to impeccable finishes, A lot of that usually happens early in the tournament when you do have maybe a more even playing field, some upsets, some double-digit seeds, some Cinderellas, small school magic. If you eradicate that, and we have not had a lot of drama at all, there hasn't been a lot of good games. There's been a few, but not a lot of tight, good games. Today was a good example of that. You erase the two things that matter most, the structure and the magic. Because then the structure is just move everybody into the Elite Eight as high seeds of the Sweet 16, push all your higher seeds, all chalk, no upsets, and then it becomes a lot less fun to fill out a bracket. There's a lot less, discrepancies. There's a lot less differential between brackets, and that's not fun for an office pool, right? Because then traditionally everybody's just going to start picking all the one seeds, all chalk, and just push it through, and then everybody's going to have the same bracket. That's bad. Number two, lack of magic is bad too. So I'm going to stop short of calling for the sky is falling expectation of the NCAA tournament that some people have said. The new NIL transfer portal situation is going to now eliminate any of the Cinderellas. Maybe we'll see. I tend to think that, water seeks its level. Is that what the old saying goes? And I think that you'll figure out a way to regulate, and lower programs, mid-major programs will also figure out a way to manipulate and maneuver around this, but it might take a little time. But I'll tell you, as good as the power programs are, and who doesn't want to see the one seeds play this deep, we also want to have the door open so that there's at least a little bit of a hope of a party crasher, just a little party crasher. And the fact that we got no party crashers into the Elite Eight and into the Final Four, all one seeds, not even a two, is like, you know what? The essence of what made the tournament right now this year has been lacking. All right, topic number 2. This week on the SiriusXM show, we have played a bunch of Kevin Willard audio. And with the Kevin Willard situation, it has been, I think, painful for all of these Maryland fans to stomach. Now, ultimately, he's going to take this Villanova job. Kevin Willard, to me, is kind of everything that is wrong with how we view the college coaches and the game in general. Here's what I mean. Is he a great coach? No. Is he a good coach? Is he a valuable coach? Obviously, you had two good basketball programs trying to score him. Maryland's trying to keep him. Villanova's trying to woo him away. So you know what? You're only as valuable as your options. He had two good options. He was able to drive up the price and ultimately jump to the Wildcats program. He gets to go to a program where it's a basketball first, in some ways basketball only program. You're not splitting finances, resources, and attention with the football program. You get to go into a basketball-only conference in the Big East. You're back there. You've coached the Northeast. You've recruited the Northeast when you were at Seton Hall. I understand why that's a fit, and it's a place where you've won 2 national championships as a program in the last decade plus. You know what? Hey, hard to argue that's not a really good job, and for whatever your personal beliefs are, if you're Kevin Willard, maybe that's the better job. What is ugly about this is him using his public platform to negotiate his own contract. When you hear college basketball coaches or college football coaches espouse what their importance is, it's always about making sure that kids are ready for their post-collegiate life. And for some, that's basketball. John Calipari famously, I want to make sure your family is set up for life. I'm all about your family. I'm changing your family's financial future, right? You have a guy like Fran Brown at Syracuse, now touting all of my guys are taking classes in financial management. Very smart play by Coach Brown. Very smart. But this is about setting your guys up after sports is over. It's all about making them better men, better human beings, better citizens, right? This has been what all these coaches have banged the drum on for years. And Kevin Willard took an opportunity that was about the players in there and about the kids or the student athletes or however you want to define them. And he took it and flipped it and made it about him. This is about me. In a media availability before his team took the floor, Kevin Willard decided, I'm going to make this about my situation. And my AD has taken the SMU job. I don't have the right support. I couldn't keep my kids overnight in New York City. Blah, blah, blah. Do you think your players going into the NCAA tournament are at that moment worried about what didn't happen in December to stay an extra night in Manhattan because you played at the Barclays Center for a couple of nights? Do you really think that's what's on their mind? Of course not. It's on your mind. It's on your mind. Do you think they have any sense that the AD is taking the SMU job? Of course not. That's about you. That's your job. And so all these guys, including Willard, who talk about the kids, how proud they are of the kids. It's all about the kids. They bought in, they bought in, they bought in. It's about team, not individual, right? This is what they talk about incessantly. Took an opportunity from his players and at another distance from the fans that support him and have paid his salary from their own funds, their own boosters, etc., at least in some ways. Support of the program. He wants a packed house at Xfinity Center. He wants a home court advantage. He wants to make sure other Big Ten schools come in here and they know where it's at. He took fans and he took players and he dragged them through his situation. His situation. How selfish can you be? And then to spin it forward, going into a Sweet 16 game, asked about, well, why'd you use that platform last week to talk about your situation? Can you just talk about what your reasoning was? Ignored the question and merely went on to say, well, it's going to be really hard to guard Walker. Florida Gators are a really good team. I'm just, as though the question didn't exist. How immature, how unprofessional, how selfish. You took a moment that was about kids and about the program, about the history of the program. You flipped it on yourself. And then when faced with a question about yourself, ignored it. He ultimately takes the Villanova job. I'm sure there's plenty of Maryland fans saying good riddance. Let the door hit you on the way out. We don't need you. But Willard typified these last 2 weeks of the worst of this thing. That every coach is going to bellyache about the transfer portal. It's going to bellyache about all these options that the players have that now they have to worry about recruiting kids and keeping kids on campus. And that kids now are in this disease of me, as Pat Riley would say. And all these kids are just about themselves, their own situation. It's so hard to get them on the same page to play for a team. And Kevin Willard did exactly that. He made it about him the entire time. So badly that Maryland fans were booing him on the team's way to the arena. Imagine souring an entire fan base's experience of a wonderful trip to the tournament and into the Sweet 16 because you decided to make it about you. Who cares what coaches do? Because, hey, no one's holding it against them. You can take other jobs. You can make more money. That's been happening for decades. It's not going to stop happening. But talk about a complete hypocrite. Kevin Willard, good luck at Villanova. I think most of us are rooting against you. All right, and finally, before we get to Josh Pastner, the ratings have been really good for the NCAA tournament. I mean, really good. And it begs the question, do you need Cinderellas? Do you need low figures, or I should say low majors or mid majors, to juice interest? Or does everybody actually secretly just want the top seeds, the top brands to move on? I think at the end of the day, what has happened is it's a little sleight of hand of the ratings situation. I'd have to look at this a little closer, but traditionally, what we've seen over the last 2 years, you will continually see these ratings are up. Highest this has ever had. Highest for this, highest for that. What's been happening is the Nielsen ratings, because the breakup of traditional television has recognized, well, you can't really gauge how many viewers are watching everything the way that we used to, right? Because there's all these different ways to consume it. So now you have your phone, and if you're watching it streaming on your phone, how does that factor into television streaming? Also, you can do your smart TV. Does that also get included the same way a television box does for traditional cable? all these different ways that you are consuming it. Obviously, you can consume it just through clips online, Twitter, etc. And what they decided to do is they took communal viewing, airports, sports bars. Think about places that you would gather to watch a game. And they used to never count that. Now they're counting it. And how are they doing it? They're estimating. How many people watched Michigan State against Auburn at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Cleveland? I don't know. Guess. That's what they're doing. They know the Nielsen ratings are good for the television business. And so they decided, well, instead of watching all of the ratings just keep dissipating, let's make sure that the ratings also look strong. And how do we do that? Well, we'll start counting in estimates. So that's why this is happening. I think that people like brands. I think people like the tournament in general. I think it's hard to beat the bracket structure. Also, though, what's happened is they're taking all of these viewers that they used to not count. Not only are they counting them, but they're also estimating the count. That's how stuff like that happens. That's just a little insight into the business of the sports media. All right, everybody. Keep those comments rolling in. We're going to give away a t-shirt from Last Dive Bar coming up here on the show. But we want to bring you our interview tonight with head coach of UNLV, Josh Pastner, one of the members of Watch D.A. Lab, not going to give away who, met Josh when they were just 13 years old, and we've got the photographic proof for him. Let's run it right now. New UNLV head coach, Josh Pastner. All right, everybody, this is very, very cool because as the NCAA tournament gets to its Final Four, we have a head coach here formerly at Memphis, formerly at Georgia Tech. He spent 7 years at both of those stops. He went to the NCAA tournament 5 times, won the conference tournament 4 different times, and won the regular season conference championship twice. He's now the new head coach at UNLV, and we have a lot of his vibes on this show. Joining us here on the program is Josh Pastner. Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing very, very well. Thanks for having me on. Let me just tell you this. This right now, being part of the UNLV Runnin Rebels men's basketball program, I got to pinch myself. I'm going on literally no sleep. Since I got the call that I got the job, I've literally have gone on no sleep. But I don't feel tired. And part of that is because the adrenaline, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the awesomeness. I mean, it's just outstanding. So the motor is ticking and running, and I'm just so darn just happy, blessed, fortunate to be able to sit in this chair.
Well, when you were introduced in not only the press release, but your introductory press conference, you noted how important the program is to the city and the region.
That's right.
Now, you know, Vegas now has a professional hockey team that's won a Stanley Cup. They have an NFL team of the Raiders. Eventually, they may have a baseball team as well with the Oakland A's, and they might get a basketball team also from the NBA. There's all of these signs that point to it. So what is it about UNLV, Runnin Rebels, men's basketball that still holds importance in that city, and why?
Well, look, I would tell you a couple things. Number one is there's no doubt about it that UNLV is the Runnin Rebels, the UNLV, just those four letters right there. It is a global attraction, not only just in the United States of America, but globally. Everybody knows UNLV. When you know about UNLV, you think about all the great teams that have been here for all those years in the past. Obviously, everybody knows Las Vegas, not only in the United States of America, but globally around the world. Everyone knows Las Vegas. It's Las Vegas, which UNLV is literally right next, is intertwined and is part of the whole strip area and all what's going on. It's the entertainment. It's becoming the entertainment capital of the world. It's becoming the sports industry capital of the world. And UNLV is connected and intertwined with all that. So it's a tremendous opportunity. It's something where you not looking at the glass as half full, but as overflowing with potential and upside. And on top of that, people are wanting and are hungry to get back in and be excited and enthused and rooting hard for their Runnin Rebels basketball team here with UNLV. That's what they want. And so I've been tasked with the responsibility, with the job, because it's not my team. It's not my team. This is their team. This is Las Vegas team. This is Runnin Rebels team. This is the alumni team, all the former players team. I just am sitting in the chair to help try to navigate that and lead that back and get everyone excited again. And so that's going to be rolling up your sleeves, putting your hard hat on, getting in the trenches, obviously rallying the community and getting community involvement, rallying the students, and then getting great players, coaching them up hard, and winning games at the same time.
And UNLV men's basketball was the first team in. They have the footprint in Vegas because back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, well before they could even dream about pro sports, there was UNLV. And rarely is there a program that has a 2 or 3 year run that indelibly just prints itself in the national psyche like UNLV did back in the late 80s, early 90s with Grandmama, LJ, Augment, and all those guys. And so it's got to be a thrill to know that there is something, like you said, that is just there, deeply imprinted and lasts forever. We're talking 35 years later, and the UNLV Runnin Rebs of 90 and 91, those teams live as strongly today as they did before.
You make a great point. Let me tell you this. I got thousands of text messages, by the way, thousands when I got the job. And I can't even keep up with them right now because you're drinking from a fire hose in a sense, trying to, build a roster, build a staff, raise money, meet who you need to meet, do everything that you need to do. I can't tell you how many text messages I got from people all across the United States of America and all across the world who I know, from international basketball or people internationally. And they all say, Coach, I cannot believe you're the head coach at UNLV. My favorite teams was they talk about like growing up. I love my favorite players was, the players from the UNLV. My favorite team was the UNLV Runnin Rebels. I can't tell you how many people, my child, that's all I wanted to watch. They talked about the first jerseys they got, the hats, the gear when they were growing up. So it still has that strong effect. And now we just got to kind of get it back and re-energize, reignite, get it back to be electric again. And look, it's not going to be easy. It's not. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to grind it out. But I'm excited about the challenge of doing that and going to meet the challenge head on.
All right. So you've got a big fan within these walls here on Watch D.A. Live, and that is our executive producer, Aidan Hatton. You got to see him right before we went on live, but I want to put a picture up because this picture says it all about his deep commitment to Josh Pastner and wherever you are going to coach. This is a picture from 2013.
Whoa!
You and him. You're the head coach at Memphis. Aidan, where are you? Where did this happen? And you were dressed as a Boston super fan, as though we had drawn the caricature in the Globe that day.
Yes, Josh, I just want to say thank you because this is a full circle moment for me. We were somehow having eggs at the same Disney breakfast place back in 2013.
That's at the Orlando World Center Marriott.
Wow. You've got it before me. Yes. My parents thought I was crazy at 13 years old to recognize the, at the time, Memphis basketball coach. And, my dad doubted it for a second, had to Google that your team was there for a tournament. And my mom was supportive enough to go over and ask for the picture of you and me. So I guess my question follow-up is how much has changed or how much has stayed the same since this moment?
Well, that's amazing. What a great picture. And congrats to you for all your success and being able to be where you are now and how crazy time is. It just shows you never know. That's amazing. What I would tell you is one of the great compliments I get from people is, you're the same person who you were, whether it was back when you were a high school player or a college player or the head coach at Memphis, the head coach at Georgia Tech, or doing ESPN or doing being the head coach at UNLV. You're the same guy. Obviously, I've matured and things like that. But as in terms of personality wise, treating people the right way, trying to be kind to everybody. My philosophy on life hasn't changed, and so that's one of the great compliments I can always get, that you've stayed the same true philosophy and how you believe in dealing with people, whether it was before you're a head coach or even during a head coach or after head coach. And so I've been the same guy in a sense in that way. And that is a really cool thing. And look, I would tell you that I've grown as a coach. I'm a better coach today than I was when I was a coach at Memphis or when I was a coach at Georgia Tech. And I'll probably be a better coach 5 years from now when I'm as the UNLV head men's basketball coach than I was today at 47. That's just part of growing and learning. And so I'm excited to be able to continue to the maturation process of my coaching from the times I had at Memphis, Georgia Tech, and even the 2 years really studying the game, being away from it, being in television, being in media, and now coming back to really now do what I've learned and really take those thoughts and put it to a team now.
Well, you are known as one of the great guys in the sport. However, there is a reason that America can be very angry with you, and that is because of your recruitment of Jon Scheyer way back when at Arizona. Scheyer ends up becoming a Duke legend. He then ends up being the Duke head coach, and now Duke may win a national championship. And if you root against Duke, you're like, how are they still this good after Coach K? Once upon a time, you were lead recruiter on him at Arizona, and you invited him down there right in the midst of the NCAA tournament, and you're figuring, you know what, we might be in the Final Four. Shirer's on campus. We're going to nail him. And you guys lose to Illinois in the Elite Eight, and he comes on campus, and it's a morgue. And you lose Scheyer to Duke, and now look, we have another however many years of a dynasty at Duke. So what? How'd this happen?
Let me tell you this. I spent so many hours and hours and hours and trips to go see Jon Scheyer and phone calls to call Jon Scheyer and going to his home to see Jon Scheyer and just the amount of time and energy that I exhausted for multiple years now in recruiting Jon Scheyer to the University of Arizona. And we had a visit schedule. I'll never forget this. A visit scheduled on Monday. So we played an Elite Eight game on Saturday, but we had scheduled the visit prior and earlier, like a week or two before. And on that Monday, Tuesday for a visit for Jon Scheyer to visit the University of Arizona. And we ended up playing Illinois in the Elite Eight in basically in Chicago. It was a home game for them. They were the number one team in America. And we were up 14 points with under the 4-minute media timeout.
No.
Listen, under the 4-minute timeout, it was like the barn. They had this, I forget it was called. It was the barn that we played at. It was so many Illini fans there. The place was eerily silent. They were shocked that we were going to go to the Final Four and their dream season would have ended. Bruce Weber, you looked at him down the sideline at the time. He looked like a ghost. He had just seen a ghost. Like, what has happened? How we lost that game irks me still to this day. It's unbelievable. It was one of the greatest comebacks for a team to happen with under the 4-minute media timeout. We ended up going to overtime. Momentum shifted. They won the game when they went to the Final Four. We come back late Saturday night. Jon Scheyer's coming on. I'm getting the whole visit prepared. I am literally sick to my stomach. The entire city it's like death had happened. I mean, it was unbelievable. Zero energy. It was just gray and outside. It was just a bad visit. He comes on the visit. He's there for a couple of days. It was not a good visit. Coach Olson was out of it. We were all out of it. Nobody wanted to be there. And he goes to Duke, and the rest is history.
And the butterfly effect is he might end up being there for 30 years.
Well, I tell you this, he's, with all due respect to Coach K, who I love and is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach of any sport, he's recruiting better than Coach K, for crying out loud. I mean, it's unbelievable what this guy's done. You got to credit Jon Scheyer. I don't think anyone's beating them. I think they're winning the national championship. I just don't see anyone stopping them right now. And they got the best player in America in Cooper Flagg.
So is it true that when you were born, Panhandle of West Virginia, first 2 nights, you didn't sleep in a crib, you didn't sleep in a bassinet, baby Josh Pastner slept in an open drawer in a dresser? Could this possibly be true?
No, that's true. And that's why, maybe that's why my head was banging back and forth in the dresser, why I am the way I am. Oh, high motor, high energy, moving 100 miles an hour. So I always tell my mom that, you put me in the drawer, so this is where I'm at, and so
well, there was no bassinet or crib ready for you?
It was in the 70s. You know what I mean? Who knows? I don't know if they could have afforded it back then. It is what it is. But I'm here today. I can tell you that.
I have heard that, like me, you are a passionate fan of white rice. I love white rice. Are you with me on this, March?
I love rice in general, whether it's white rice, chicken fried rice,
love rice.
Brown rice.
Oh.
I can rice pilaf. It doesn't matter. Anytime I go to a restaurant, and they have like your sides. I said, "Can you make rice as your side?" And listen to me. I swear to you not. This is a funny story. 2 weeks ago, I'm at ESPN during championship week, and I'm working during the championship week, and they had a spread of food for everyone there because it was long hours. One of the things was a pan of rice. I must have got 6 servings filling my plate up. It was just white rice, nothing else on it, just the white rice. And I'm telling you, so I ate 2 plates and I wanted to go back for a third. I did. And then I figured people are looking at me. So I took and went around the corner and sat where no one could see me and ate. And then I thought like I came back kind of like was hiding it to get another scoop of rice. So yes, I'm a rice guy all the way through.
Now, wait a second. You're a bit of a crazy person then. Was there anything on the rice? Did you add soy sauce or some type of dipping sauce? Or
there was nothing on the rice, but I will add barbecue sauce. I will add sweet and sour sauce. I can do soy sauce. Sometimes I can put relish on the rice. I'll put beans on the rice. I am a rice guy. In fact, on the other night, I was in the office really late. I was trying to find, obviously in Vegas, there's a lot of things that are open, but I just wanted to find something that you could just get something light. And I went to there, I was looking at the menu and they had a rice bowl. And I said, I just want the rice bowl, but can you put an extra? They said, you want chicken? I said, I'll take some chicken, but can you do double scoop of rice? And so that I am a rice guy through and through.
That is incredible. But you're telling me that you don't only use it as a side to dip stuff in or put the stuff on. That could be the meal. Like you went up for just 3 bowls of plain white rice and that was your meal.
That was my meal. Listen, I'll have a salad. I will eat a salad. Honest to God, I'll eat a salad and put rice in the salad. I will mix anything with I'll make eggs, put rice on it. I mean, I am a rice guy.
We got to get a rice sponsor for your NIL at UNLV. That is so epic.
Hey, if anyone, any of the rice companies out there, I need money for the NIL. You don't have to sponsor me, but I need you to sponsor the program. Come on, please. I will eat all the rice you want. I just need money into the NIL fund. Let's go.
So I got so much good intel on you from a good friend of mine who's a friend of yours, close friend of mine that goes back to college, Yellow Jackets broadcaster, Andy Demetra. Andy told me, you're going to love Coach. You got to get him on. He's like, bing, bing, bing. Got to ask him about these things. I was like, that is good stuff. We got to get Coach on. So there you go.
I was wondering how you knew all that stuff. So yes, Andy Demetra, Andy's awesome. Andy is tremendous. He and I had such a good time together. And I can't tell you how many times we would talk and he would be like doing our radio show. He says, you know what's great about doing the Monday night radio show with you, Coach? I only have to prepare 3 questions. He goes, you'll take up the time on the other. He goes, most coaches, I have to prepare for like 35 questions because they give me 10-second answers. You will go for 20 minutes. So it's the best. He said, tell me the greatest coach to work for during a radio show is you, because it's just very quick preparation. A question here and a question there, and you can take it from there.
Well, we know that you're going to electrify and energize that fan base that is desperate for UNLV basketball to come back with a force. We know that you have a lot of fans across college basketball just because of the way that you treat people. And obviously interviews like this, you can see you've always been a great person to the people around you, and it certainly shows many years later. So we're rooting for you, UNLV, man. Thank you so much for the time today. For all of you guys in Vegas, check out UNLV Men's Hoops because it is back under Coach Josh Pastner next season. You guys are on watch out there to go watch UNLV. Thanks so much, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Go Runnin Rebels. Let's go. Let's go. Come to Thomas and Mack. Get your season tickets now.
That interview had so many incredible moments in it. I mean, number one, he slept the first couple of days after he was born in an open drawer, almost like Kramer in a Seinfeld episode. Secondly, the John Shire story is amazing. Think about the butterfly effect there. If John Shire ends up committing to Arizona, there's no way he's Coach K's right-hand man and ends up taking over the program and they're into the Final Four this year. And most importantly, the guy absolutely loves rice. And he's a man after my own heart. I love white rice. You know, when I go to Chipotle, extra rice, please. Just give me as much rice as possible. But I'm not really a huge brown rice guy, but I do love fried rice. Absolutely love fried rice. Love Spanish fried rice. Love Asian fried rice. Love sticky rice with sushi. I love all types of, I had a paella the other day. That rice, absolutely delicious. And yeah, but he's a psychopath because I would never only eat just plain white rice for dinner. That was his meal. Just scoop after scoop after scoop of plain white rice. I mean, I need a little something with it. Rice and beans, okay, that'll hold me over. Rice, beans, a little bit of chicken, I'm great. Rice, beans, and some shrimp. Rice, something, and some, okay. He just went straight white rice, nothing on it. I mean, that's that's a savage right there. That was awesome. The interviews every single week just continue to be more and more enlightening and memorable. And how about the Marquette Marvel, Aidan, spotting Josh Pastner, the head coach of Memphis, in Orlando as a Boston kid and recognizing him at 13 and getting the photo and dropping that on Pastner. That was freaking awesome. Just awesome. I mean, Aidan, how about how time is a flat circle? Whatever goes around comes around. The fact that here you are, however many years later, 12 years later, and you got Coach on our show with the picture that your mom took. That is epic.
This has become a family joke, DA, the fact that I could recognize the Memphis head basketball coach when I was 13. So much so that when Pastner got the job at UNLV, it was announced on Tuesday, I believe. His press conference was Wednesday. I got a text from my parents with the, Jeff Goodman breaking news. Hey, Pastner is going to UNLV. And, my dad wrote, he's back into coaching, your guy. And 48 hours, 72 hours later, he's coming on Watch D.A Live, and I have to pinch myself.
That's freaking awesome. Well, we have a real solid, foundation of college basketball around here because you have been hosting the Making Tacos segment for about a month and a half now. We've had a March Madness bracket now 2 years in a row with tremendous buy-in by our listeners, by our friends. We're going to update you on the brackets of the D-Aliens coming up here shortly. We've had two amazing sponsors last year, Bach de Bourbon, this year, the Tropical Bros Apparel Company. Now we have Josh Pastner seeing Marquette Marvel at 13 years old. But how about this? Marquette Marvel was interviewed at the Big East tournament a couple weeks ago with a couple of his buddies by one of the hosts of the BetMGM Sports Grid Trivia Challenge. Okay. Now, I knew that Aidan was a big college basketball fan. We all knew this because of the Making Tacos segment. And I know that he's a huge Marquette fan. He goes to the Big East tournament every year. I don't think any of us knew the level, though, of fandom. Now, we're starting to get a sense with the picture of Josh Pastner. But let me play for you this video. You might have seen this if you follow Aidan on Instagram this week. This is mind-blowing to me. They do a sports grid challenge where they've got NBA teams on the top and then college teams at the bottom, or vice versa. And you got to figure out or think of a player that played on both teams, okay? Let's just watch Aidan Hatton, the Marquette Marvel, go nuclear.
Complete the BetMGM grid.
Duke Sixers. Jared McCain.
Bang.
Okay, Cavs Duke, Kyrie.
Rockets Auburn. That's Jabari Smith Jr.
Oh, yes, sir.
76ers Auburn, Charles Barkley.
Chuck, let's go.
Yeah. Cavs Auburn.
We got a current Cav, actually.
Isaac Okoro.
Isaac Okoro, let's go. Yeah.
Tyus Jones played for Rockets?
Not yet.
Austin
Austin Rivers, let's go.
Florida Gators on the 3 teams.
Chomp, chomp, baby.
Florida. Oh, Al Horford, 76ers.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Good guess, good guess.
Rockets, Florida. Oh, Corey Brewer, Rockets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Close it out.
And then Cavs, Florida. Cavs, Florida.
He's him. Do it for Marquette.
Come on, baby. Hold on.
We got a shooter here.
2-time national champion, Mike Miller.
Let's go.
Let's go! Let's go! How many times could he scream, let's go? Also, how many BetMGM hosts screaming, he's him? Aidan Hatton, he's him! That was so freaking impressive. I'm like, Isaac Okoro? How'd you get Isaac Okoro?
Yeah, by the time I talked to, my nights at the bar recently, my family, friends, everybody seems to have a different name. That was surprising. The one that I think is most impressive that I have no idea it came out was Corey Brewer. And that bore out in the comments as well. This came out on Instagram and TikTok. So you got to see a little bit of both.
Oh, let's
and yes, a Corey Brewer pull crazy. Corey Brewer, I think my favorite from TikTok was Bro's got the Shaka Smart fit on. Yes, that's correct. I do wear that for every single Marquette game. Bro was in his bag. And then finally, Jen Latta.
Wow, Jen, ESPN Game Day, Jen Latta.
I have not even met her in person. I know you have, but I have tried and failed in passing to get connected with her, a Marquette alum. So, Jen, have to come on the show because I know you and D.A. are close, former guest of the D.A. show. And she just saw it out of nowhere, go Marquette. So it's at about 100,000, 120,000 views on TikTok right now, another 50,000 on Instagram. We knew that, we were interviewed for the Big East tournament. By the way, that was a couple beers deep. I just want to say, walking into the Garden after pre-gaming for the Marquette game. And I didn't realize until after the fact, after the reel was posted, that I was made for this moment. I'm trivia host for over a year now across Boston bars, trivia fan to begin with, but you just never know. Couldn't do it without my guys, Brian and Zach, my Big East tournament brothers. Our other buddy, Derek from New York, pulled Austin Rivers for me, but it just came out so good. And admittedly, I will be dining off that for months.
I was like a proud father. I'm watching that. And you didn't even brag about this. You didn't say, oh, guess what? At the Big East tournament, guess what happened? You just posted this. And I'm like, wait a second. This is freaking amazing. And I'm like going, I would have never gotten half of those guys. The fact that you could do this. If they had this same thing for like 1980s wide receivers, I might be able to do well. But like you were in that zone. And could you just put the comments back up? There was one that I absolutely loved. The comment that said, bro studied the packet. Bro studied the friggin' packet, yo. And then also Corey Brewer pull sheesh with the fire emoji. That was fantastic. Well done.
There's also a TikTok user named Sheesh that wrote bro was in his bag. So that's why I included that as well. Bottom right. His username is just Sheesh. So if I could impress Sheesh with my ball knowledge, then that's the ultimate compliment. Between this and getting to talk to Josh Pastner this week, my one takeaway is that my 13-year-old brain, that sports encyclopedia, hasn't gone away. And, I made my 13-year-old self a really happy guy today.
That's a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. Right here, Watch D.A. Live Trivia Royalty, Aidan Hatton. Amazing. Just amazing. Look at the type of family we have here on the show. All right, speaking of, why don't we clear the floor now, because the MGM Sports Grid King is going to take us through making tacos and give us the update on the Tropical Bros D-Alien Bracket Challenge.
If you're not making tacos, I don't love you no more.
Noted taco maker and clear college basketball nut Charles Barkley
Weird waste.
says if you want to win a national championship, you should be playing your best come March. Well, by that same adage, let's ground our best beef yet, shall we? In honor of my viral moment with Bebida, I'm going to attempt to include each player in the BetMGM grid into today's script of tacos. So if you're keeping score, you can cross off Chuck. Let's go.
Feeling good, doing well. Feeling good, doing well.
Today's Caliente starts with the first team to clinch their Final Four spot. Noted Florida alum Al Horford was being called out to play a game for the Boston Celtics, but told them,
Now wait a minute.
I need to watch my Gators come back with an 18-4 run in the final 3 minutes and 14 seconds to clinch their first Final Four in 11 years. Next, we saw Duke easily take care of Alabama en route to John Shire's first Final Four.
Feeling good, doing well.
Alum Kyrie Irving was already named after the city approximately 4 hours and 12 minutes from the Final Four, so clearly Duke was meant for Texas. Even if I'm coming off the hate train and proclaiming them the frontrunners right now, which I am, that's how good they looked, Cooper Flag and otherwise. So, are they already ring shopping in Durham? We'll see if they can go to Jared McCain.
Have fun with your
The
marriage.
third 1 seed to clinch their Final Four spot followed Austin Rivers' career trajectory from Duke to Houston. That's right, me and the Cougars are on a bender, suffocating Tennessee on Sunday. Duke may be my head or sombrero prediction, but my heart would love to see Houston number 1. Oh, hey, that's the jersey of Jabari Smith Jr. All right, we're almost done. For those that think I can't accomplish this challenge, I only have 5 words for you.
Get away from me, buddy.
We're still waiting on the Auburn-Michigan State finish, which is testing my patience as the producer, and I want to tell this tip time to get away from me, buddy. But if Abraham was tested to slay his son Isaac, as the story goes in the book of Hebrews, then the story goes that Isaac Okoro's Auburn team will be saved at the last minute of danger. So war damn Eagle. Time now for the Bracket Challenge update presented by Tropical Bros, who will supply a prize pack for the top 3 finishers in Watch D.A. Live's bracket pool. Your summer wardrobe will be more corked than those Yankees bats yesterday against the Corey Brewers. Updated after the Houston win, atop the standings are 2 fellow Cougars, Derek G. and Swagger Dynasty. A star-studded rest of the list, including Shep tied for 4th overall, picking Duke as champion. I, however, am more cooked than these tacos. You might be thinking, Aidan's only named 8 of the 9 grid players. Well, signing off, this is the Marquette Marvel, alum to that university in Milwaukee, home to that beautiful drink, Mike Miller Lite. Booskies, bitches.
If you're not making tacos, I don't love you no more.
Booskies, bitches. That's a first. I got to give you
on
credit.
YouTube, right?
Yeah, do whatever you want. Ring shopping at Jared McCain, and I'm going to give you props for an outfit that's more corked than the Yankees bats over the weekend. I mean, that has been ridiculous. All the home runs the Yankees are hitting, and suddenly we just realized for the first time, oh, they have a different bat than any other bat in the history of bats. But how did this sneak by everybody in spring training? How did it sneak by everybody in the offseason? Clearly, the Yankees had to make sure they green lighted this, and suddenly they got these crazy-looking bats, and they're smashing home runs at a record rate. Only baseball. Oh, it's like, 3 games in. Oh, are the Yankees bats legal? Do any of these games count? Are we going to have to void them? Just insanity. Can we get those standings, by the way, were before the ending of the Auburn-Michigan State game, right? Because you taped tacos before we went on air.
Correct. That was filmed about a half hour before the game ended. So let's throw these up again and get a quick update. Again, this is at the end of the Houston result.
Okay, so these are updated now that we have the Final Four set. These are updated.
Let's pull this up on my phone as well to get the most. This was after the Houston game, so shout out to Derek and Swagger.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so this was not after the Auburn-Michigan State game. Got it.
Correct.
Okay. So, yeah, so let's get, I don't know, if you want to pull that one down. And then
I have it pulled up here. So,
okay, yeah.
Derek G and Swagger Dynasty stay at the top. No changes there.
Okay.
They both went with Auburn as well, so they get the points. Sox 23-20 jumps up to third place. He was previously in a tie for fourth, but he jumps up, Sox 23-20, or she, to third, picking Duke as the champ. Fourth, Owen Kenner. He's got Florida picking it with 1050, just 10 points behind third. So again, top three go home with the winning pack from Tropical Bros. And then in fifth place, winning team 23, they've got Duke taking it. So we've got 2 Houstons, 2 Dukes, and a Florida in the top 5.
All right, so Tropical Bros going to hook up the top 3 with apparel and goodies, etc. Where are the celebrities now? Let's run through the public figures here. Where does everybody stand? Where did Shep drop to then?
Shep dropped to a tie for 9th. He's staying at 980. He does have Duke winning it, but his Final Four includes Florida, Michigan State, incorrectly, Duke, and Houston.
Okay.
So his national championship has Duke over Florida. So he could jump up.
Okay.
So
now just give me standings wise where the notables are under Shep. So we got Bogish, Kind Sir. We have formerly known as Mraz, who's Mraz. We have you. We have me. We have Pete the Body Bilotti. We have Babs. Where's everybody stand here?
Okay, so quick shout out because a lot of listeners joined, but not all of them are in the top 10. Craig and Moist Pork are both tied for 9th with Shep, impressively enough. Both picking Duke. Mraz, tied for 27th, has Duke as champ. We know that D.A. is in 42nd.
Oh, God.
Florida as champ. Oh, it gets worse. It gets much worse because you'll wait for a while to hear my name. Mike Babchick, 65th. Okay. As we said last week, he picked St. John's, which was a quick out. The only 2 seed to not make the Elite Eight. We have, I saw Kind Sir here. Oh, Kind Sir, 69th. Very nice. Okay. He's got Florida as the champ. Yours truly, Market Marvel, 90th. Oh. And I do have Houston as champ, though, so a good way to bump up. The only other celeb behind me, Pete the Body Bilotti, went with Michigan State. He is at 440. And by my count, DA, he's actually, we have 2 zeros at the bottom. I assume they didn't submit a bracket. Tia Donna and ESPN Fan 54, whatever. But our bracket submitter, for everyone that actually picked a champion, the Body, dead last. 440 points. And I don't think there's a way for him to get any further up. He's got Michigan State, UConn, Gonzaga, and finally, Oregon.
Oh, my God, he had Oregon. Oh, no, Oregon hasn't played in 3 weeks.
So, yeah, we're shaming Pete the Body here, unfortunately. But he might finish dead last. I finished dead last in the celeb group last year, obviously leading to the 1 sour moment punishment. I didn't finish dead last in the entire group, and that's where the Body is looking right now.
My God, that's incredible. We had like 100 submissions, and he is essentially dead last out of all submissions outside of the 2 people that didn't submit a bracket. That's incredible.
95 by my count.
I want to touch on this Fanatics latest disaster here. You might have seen me tweet this and post it on Instagram as well. This is just incredible this week. So Fanatics is releasing its opening day apparel promotions, and they released the Minnesota Twins apparel promotion. And, you know, you have these two models, and they're in an outdoor ballpark, and it looks relatively new. And so they're wearing their Twins jerseys. All right. And there's a male model and a female model. And the male model has a cap on, the female model, they both have Twins jerseys on. And you're like, all right, this is, you know, get your Twins gear here. Well, then you peer a little closer and you realize, oh, this is why this thing went viral. The guy is wearing a cap that has the Cleveland Guardians C on it. I mean, how remarkably embarrassing. And then following this, somebody else noted that this was actually taken at Camden Yards. So you had a 3 for Twins promotion, Guardians cap at Camden Yards. Now, I'm not so worried about Camden Yards because if you're doing a Fanatics promotion and you're like, hey, we just got to get we've got to get all 30 promotions done on the same day. You know what? We're going to knock out 12 of them at Camden Yards. That's not the worst thing in the world, right? It's kind of a generic backdrop, green seats. That could be a lot of different places. You can't even necessarily tell it's not Minnesota. Fine. It's okay. The Guardians cap is just remarkable because when you really drill down on this, you have to consider how many Fanatics employees had to overlook this or not know it was a mistake. And I say not know because everybody watching this is a sports fan. You guys are deep enough sports fans to where you listen to my radio show or you have listened to my radio show or you watch this, you know, this show. And so you're in it enough to know the Minnesota Twins could not have a C on their hat. But how many people are on that shoot or working for Fanatics that actually don't know that the Minnesota Twins might have a C on their hat, or they don't know anything? You have to have the model, and let's assume this is not AI and just generated by AI, computers, Photoshop, etc. If this is a real photograph, then the model has to keep on a Guardians hat from a different shoot, right? They probably shot the Guardians on the same day. He keeps the Guardians hat on, and he has the Twins jersey. Okay, so the model doesn't even realize. The assistant who is giving them the gear, here's the T-shirt or here's the jersey, here's that. That guy or that gal's got to miss it. The photog has to miss it, okay? The editor of the whole thing, because you got to add filters and send it to the proper channel to make sure it gets published, etc. That person misses it. The executive or the director that obviously gets this, maybe that director's on the shoot, misses it. The promotions person that has to send this for publishing misses it. The social media person who publishes this actually misses it. There's like 6 levels of missing it. And even if it is AI, and they just said, here's the 2 people, we're just Chat GPT or whomever, just give us a Cleveland Guardians outfit, give us a Twins outfit, and it just doesn't change the hat. The person that does the Photoshop or the AI misses it. The person that it has to run through for promotions misses it. The person that publishes it misses it. Everybody just keeps missing it. It is astonishing. And considering what Fanatics happened last year, what happened to them with the cheap jerseys and the players hated it and the league looked like it was Bush League, that a year later they could do something this kind of cheap again is so JV. It's beyond belief. You'd think they'd be on their P's and Q's because of what happened last year. Fanatics, you are absolutely the worst. That's it. Game over. You're the worst. All right, let's give away some stuff here, shall we? Why not give away some Last Dive Bar gear? Brian, the guys at Last Dive Bar, kicked some ass as always. I can tell you right now, the first designs of the DA Show merch store have been submitted. We have a, what would you call a dummy site set up now where the first pieces of merchandise are up. The designs are really cool. I mentioned I'm working on a Rosie the Cat design. I kind of floated this, didn't know how it would land. Urban Bell kind of suggested it. I got such great feedback on people that wanted a Rosie the Cat t-shirt that I'm like, okay, maybe we'll do this. So I'm weaving in like, catchphrases of the show and the soul of the show to create some cool gear. And they're helping me out last dive bar, and it looks great. It's going to be great. The site's going to be awesome. So I can't wait to debut that coming up here shortly. Until then, we got some last dive bar gear. And, oh, by the way, as Watch D.A. Live gets a Watch D.A. Live merch, that's what we start giving away in future weeks and future months. So moving forward, that's the stuff that you're going to be able to win, which is going to be badass. So I want you to run through, Aidan, a number of the comments that you've been, I see, highlighting or starring, if you will, favoriting. And then at the end, you can give me your favorite one that you're going to give away the last dive bar t-shirt to today.
Well, more recently, we can go to Drunkle Sam, who just submitted, I wear Fruit of the Loom boxer briefs and Hanes t-shirts, no more. Don't know how that started, but let's start there and go backwards because some good ones that I saw as well. Moist Pork sad he's not in the celeb group for the Tropical Bros Bracket Challenge. He actually had the body being last before I did. So very surprising before I actually got to reveal it.
Well, that's a good question. Does Moist Pork qualify as a celebrity? I mean, he is certainly one of the most notable listeners and D-Aliens that we have. I was thinking mainly like on-air people that have, but I mean, Moist Pork does tweet in every single day and was a guest at the Bob's Bar Show. Maybe he does qualify as an on-air celebrity at this point in time. Think about that. Moving on up, just like we all are. And I guess it's time for me to go on Jeopardy, thanks to Largent. Yeah.
But the crown jewel of the comment section tonight's show was you and Josh Pastner talking rice, because we just got rice with some rice, chopped with rice. If coaching does not work out, Uncle Ben could use a new salesman. I thought that was a really good one. Where's Beat Rice when you need him? Speaking of D-Aliens and funny names. Rice, I haven't seen him on the Watch D.A. live chat. He's got to check in.
Right? I mean, and how is Josh Pastner not wearing, some type of, a Beat Rice type of t-shirt?
Maybe with all this alignment, Rice can now join the Mountain West, and that would be a twice-a-year heavyweight battle between UNLV and Rice. More calls for Josh needing to coach Rice.
Yeah.
You answered this already, but Cigar City Capo asked if any love for Spanish Rice D.A. It sounds like you're an equal Rice opportunist, equal opportunity for Rice. You like any and all kinds.
Admittedly, I'm not a huge brown rice guy. I know that's the most healthy of the rice. And so it's like, well, if you're going to do rice, you might as well do the healthy rice. I don't love brown rice. It's a little too dense for me. I love white rice, so I always defer to white rice. So brown rice, I can get by, but I don't love it. I basically love all the other rice.
Another one I loved during the interview when you mentioned him sleeping in an open dresser drawer. Sharp dresser has a whole new meaning now.
Wow.
That's good stuff.
That's a good one by Randy.
And yes, we will probably not be having Kevin Willard on the show next week, unfortunately. And to finish it off, our last dive bar winner for tonight is Thomas, watching on YouTube, because he just parachuted in with coaching Rice. He was the first one to do it, which if you start the trend, you're a trendsetter, in my opinion, and in the Watch D.A. Live show opinion. So email watchDALive@gmail.com, Thomas. We'll get you hooked up.
No doubt. Or hit us up on social media as well, Instagram, Twitter, both myself or Aidan. Let us know your address, and we will get that t-shirt out to you. Also, we have a couple of people that have won stuff in the last couple of weeks that we do not have addresses still for. Aidan, you want to quickly give who those people are, those winners are, so we can get them out this week?
Yes. I'll pull that up in a second here. Did not think we were doing that.
Yeah. Matthew sent this comment in, which I loved. He said, "Hey, DA, beam me aboard that sweet mothership. Love the content. Keep it up, my man." Matthew, zap, baby. Welcome aboard. Love having you here. And I love everybody that's been just crushing it in the comments section over the course of the last hour plus. And looks like you guys really enjoyed the Josh Pastner interview. So I feel like he could definitely come on again. I feel like maybe because he's an analyst, he was an analyst for the last 2 seasons at ESPN. He might just be like a popper in. It's been cool. We've had a couple of guests who have joined us over the last year plus now on Watch D.A Live. And afterwards, they're like, hey, anytime you guys like want me to come on, like I'm happy to do so. That was a lot of fun. So I didn't want to squeeze them too much in the first year of the show, but now we'll start, running them back for a couple of repeat guests. And I feel like Josh Pastner definitely would come back on to do that. He seemed to have a really good time. And UNLV's sports information, by the way, they were tremendous, easy to work with, simple, generous with their time and everything. So that was definitely a cool hookup and good to know.
I got to get to a UNLV game, man, because there is no bigger Josh Pastner fan. I meant to say this when he was with us, but there is no bigger Josh Pastner fan, I'd argue, under the age of 25, longest tenured outside of his family, because that was 2012, 2013. And, longest tenured wise, I'm 24, under the age of 25, besides his family, I'd ration to guess that there's not a longer tenured Josh Pastner fan. So run Rebels run. And I do have those names for you in the winner's circle that we're still looking for info from. Mm-hmm. John Tankson, Spencer Seeks, CNYCC, and Connor Norton. I believe those are the 4 that we are looking for. 5, excuse me.
All right. So let us know if you guys got your addresses, get them together, send it to us. You can always email us, watchdalive@gmail.com. By the way, Moist Pork saying any update on Bob's Bar 4. Deal is this. Bob had knee replacement surgery on Monday. That was the only thing that we were hesitating on in terms of a date. Guess he's still kind of hopped up on the pain meds and hobbling around a little bit. So I don't want to say today that it's definite, but I'm going to tell you that if we can't do Bob's Bar, I think we will just find another place in that vicinity to do it so that you guys can all plan on getting to the same place. And if it's not Bob's specifically, it might be a different situation. We have a couple of other people that have offered their backyard bars and their situations. We also have actual establishments, bars that have said, hey, if you wanted to come by, we would love to have you guys. So I'm kind of weighing all the options. I want to make sure we give Bob Mraz the courtesy of like, we're going to wait, because we know that, you're you're the focus point and he loves doing it, etc. So I would tell you this, as I said last week, Sunday, June 8th, by all accounts is the date. Sunday, June 8th, by all accounts is the date. I will tell you, it would take a pretty massive something to happen that it's not the date. Okay. So I can't tell you it's Bob's Bar, definitely June the 8th yet, but I can tell you the date is almost certain now. It's going to be June the 8th on a Sunday. All right. And the idea is wherever we do it, we're going to be hanging out during the day. And then we're going to kind of like party right through the afternoon and the evening. And then you guys can do whatever you need to do. If you want to get home at the end of the night, go to a hotel, have a place to crash, etc. But that's what we're working on right now, Sunday, June the 8th. I can't quite go to. It's certain, it's set. It's at Bob's because of the knee surgery. I'm hoping by this time next week, it's clear one way or the other whether it's at Bob's or not. I'd love it at Bob's, but we all understand him needing to be healthy and moving around pretty well. Yeah, it's only late March. We're still a couple of months away, so there's plenty of time for him to get healthy. But just before, I don't want to put the cart before the horse because they're so generous in giving us that spot. But I would say if you're going to make plans to come to a Bob's Bar gathering, Sunday, June the 8th is 90% the date. Okay. And then we're just moving around the pieces. But if you ask me, what my guess is Sunday, June the 8th at Bob's Bar is it. That's just my gut. That's just my instinct. That's my best educated guess. But I would say next show, we'll tell you yes or no on the date. So at least you can book that. And I would say right now, if you wanted to make plans, like again, put it on the calendar, plan on that being the date, maybe book a hotel that you can cancel up until whenever. Like, I think that's probably a good idea to do. Start putting the wheels in motion. If you want to come to Bob's Bar, Sunday, June the 8th is the date. All right. That's what I'm working with right now. Pretty damn sure it's going to be the date. All right. There you go. All right. Before we get out of here, at the end of every show, we give you a Little Mo laugh of the day. And last week, you might remember it was Amir Khan, a.k.a. Aura, who was the team manager of McNeese, who went viral. Well, how about this? At Duke, when they clinched last night a spot of the Final Four, it appears Duke may have been trolling Amir Khan with their own team manager. Let's put this up here because Duke had a video run of their social media that seemed to take a bit of a swipe at Mr. Amir Khan. All right. So, I mean, using Aura, Final Four, Aura team manager. I mean, Duke, you're in your ivory white tower. You've already clinched how many Final Fours in your program's history? How many national championships? 5 of them, I believe. And now here it is, co-opting the Aura from the other team manager. I mean, I think we can all safely say we're rooting against Duke. Am I right? We've always rooted against Duke as a nation. And now, more than ever, how do you take a swipe at Aura, Amir Khan? How do you take a swipe at the McNeese kid? Come on. Be better. Be better. Although Little Mo, is laughing because it's a team manager getting hugged on and celebrated with everybody. He loves that type of stuff. So you got to give it up because that gives you a good Little Mo laugh. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight here on the show. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to executive producer Aidan Hatton. Thanks to UNLV head coach Josh Pastner. And thanks to all you D-aliens for hanging out. I will see you tomorrow morning on the D.A. Show with Babchick, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, going over the entire weekend of college hoops. Be good. Be good to one another. The mothership disconnects.